Hi everyone, Sherry from Granny's Sewing Room, stopping in to say hi and let you know what I'm working on today. Today I'm going to make a kitchen shawl, and I'm not sure that's the correct name for it, but I seen a lady wearing one on one of the cooking channels that I follow. Then on another channel, embroidery channel or embroidery advice group that I follow on Facebook, someone asked where they could get the pattern. And the pattern looked pretty straightforward to me, so I thought I liked it. I want one, so I'm going to make a tutorial on how I think this would be made. So that's what I'm going to do today, show you how I make a kitchen shawl. Has anyone told you you're special today? If not, let me be the first, because you are in God's eyes and in mine. So my first step into doing the kitchen shawl, I hope that's the correct name, is that I would take and I think these are two different halves that I have, and that's okay, I'll just embroidery on this half. But you would take a regular kitchen towel or hand towel and you would cut it in half. So I cut this in half already. After you cut your towel in half, you're going to want to baste two lines to make a gathering. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew two lines to make, so I can gather each of the ends here. You're going to sew a basting stitch, and I do 2 rows so I can gather it. So let's see, let me get this going here. Oop. So I have my niece's, the top of the quilt done, and today I'm going to work on getting some borders on it and load it on the long arm. So I still might have it done before Christmas. If not, it'll be shortly after Christmas. And I'm going to put this back down, otherwise I'll forget. So we want to gather these towels up. And I did sew 2 lines, but I'm not finding the second one. So just gather it up this way. Too many threads. So gather them up, and I'll get the other one gathered. The next thing I would do is I'm going to measure how long I want my shawl. And the towels are going to measure them first. They're about 14 inches long. So I'm going to make them about 12 inches. I want my towels hanging 12 inches. So that's going to come to about right there. So I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to wrap it around my neck. And I'm going to measure where I want my fabric to end and my towels to start. And I would like my towels to start about right there. So when I wipe my hands, they're just easy to reach. So let's see. 42. So I want it at least 42 inches long. And then wide-wise, I want my towel probably to be, I'm going to guess, because I'm going to double my fabric, so I'm going to guess I wanted at least a 5-inch towel. So it's going to be 5 inches going around my neck. But I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to fold it in half, and so I can just fold it. Let me show you. I talk and I don't explain things well, so showing is better than saying it. So let me show you what I will do for my fabric. I'm using the same fabric I made myself some pot holders, of course, because I do chickens. So I don't have enough. I don't want it to go long ways like this. I want my design to go up and down when it's around my neck. So I'm going to have to, and this is all I have left of it. So what I'm going to do is fold it in half. So I want my fabric to go up and down like this. So, and I want it to be at least 10 inches wide. I'm going to sew it across like this because I do not have enough fabric. So let me show you. And I'll make sure this goes in the back of my neck so you really don't see it. So let me get that sewed. All right, so I sewed it up here, and I'm going to cut off the fold. Now I just made my fabric join pieces. And one other thing, now I want this to wrap around my neck, so I need my fabric to be facing down this way. So I know it looks funny the way I sewed it, because it's upside down up here. Oop, let me look. I know it looks funny the way I sewed it because it's upside down up here and right side up here. But the reason I did that is because when I fold this and wrap it around my neck, they're both going to be facing the correct way. So make sure if you're doing directional fabric that you cut it and sew the seam that's going to go behind your neck. You sew that fabric in opposite directions. Okay, so this is plenty long enough. I don't have any more or less. So I am just going to make a tube out of this. And see, when I put this around my neck, yeah, it's a little shorter than what I would like, but that's okay. This is my first attempt at it. I would like my towels down a little further than stopping right there at the boob mark. But they'll still work. I still have something to wipe my hands. But I want this thinner. So I want this probably, I'm going to guess, 5 inches. And then an inch for a seam line. So 4 inches, 5 inches. So let me put you down here and measure this and show you what I'm going to do. And this is, yeah, this is way too wide for me. So I'm going to fold it up twice because I just have a small cutting mat right here. And let's see, I definitely want that chicken, so I'm going to start on this end. I'm going to clean it up. Clean my edge up and then just cut it off. Get it all lined up. Okay, so I cleaned up the edge here, and I want my towel to be probably 4 to 5 inches. So I have to double this fabric here because I'm going to make a tube when I sew this. So this is going to be two-sided. So I'm going to see how wide I want it, and that is about 9.5, almost 10. So that's perfect, perfect size. Okay, so I have a long tube. I'm going to not sew the ends. I am just going to sew this seam all the way down, and 1/4 of an inch is probably fine. You can have your tube as wide as you want. Now, I just seen this, so this is my way of making one. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not sure. So this is how I would make one. This is my first attempt, and if I like this one, I'll make another one. So I just turn this inside out here. And I'm probably going to go press this before I work on the towels. Okay, and I'm using that seam to put around my neck. And I would have, if I had more fabric, I would have made it longer, but this is all the fabric I had. I'm going to press a seam in this, so when when I put the towel in, the raw edges are going to be up in here. So let me go get it pressed and we'll work on the next step. Okay, so I've got it all pressed. Now you do want to leave a little hole where your seam is, because you want to be able to hang this up when you're not using it. So I have it all pressed. Try to get my towel tucked up in here. So I pressed a seam, or tucked it up underneath inside the tube, so I had a crisp edge, crisp seam, so you don't see any raw edges. And I want it to face this way, so I'm going to take this gathered towel and put it up in here. And maybe the next one I make, I'll just make it a little wider to go around my neck instead of quite so skinny. I have not cleaned up because I am still working on Christmas gifts. I'm pretty much well done though.
but then it's clean up before the party. So tuck that in there the best you can and pin it. Pin it down. Because now I'm going to go sew this shut. I think that fits pretty good. What do you think? All right, I'm going to work on the other end and get my other towel gathered and put in this end. I'll be back. I have both towels tucked up in there. And now I'm going to, this is going to be my hoop so I can hang it when I'm not wearing it. And that's probably about a 2-inch, 2.5 inch. And I just fold it in half. I'm going to get all my ironing done right now before I go over there to the sewing machine. And fold it in half again. Then I just always fold it for a third time over. Open it up, tuck that in so they're both folded like that and there's no raw edges. And I'm going to go sew this. I'm going to give that, sew this on the edge and again, and then I'm just going to put it where my seam opening is so I can hang this up when I'm not wearing it. Stick that inside there, and it's going to go something like that. So when I'm not wearing this, I can hang it up. So let's go over to the sewing machine and get our sewing done. Okay, I'm going to start with my little hoop here, and I'm just going to sew the folded ends together so it doesn't open up. And great. And when I always film, that's when my sewing machine or anything seems to want to mess up a little bit. I think it likes me to have to edit things out, and I hate editing. So let me get my needle threaded and say, "You will not defeat me today, sewing machine." Needle up and needle down. Okay, find my opening and just tuck that in there. And it can be as long as you want it to be. I'm going to get that sewed in there. I'm going to sew it a couple times. How to make one of these. And I'm going to sew all along both sides. pretty thick, so spread them gathers out the best you can. And I think I would go over this a couple different times as well, just because you're going to have a lot of wear on that, a lot of tugging on that part. So I'm just going to go up and around and sew this just so it looks uniform. When I seen this, let me see, what Brenda Gatz, she cooks. And when I seen her wearing one, I thought, interesting. And then I no sooner, my towel came out. I no sooner seen her wear it, then in one of my other groups that I follow on Facebook, someone was asking for the pattern, where they found the pattern. And I thought, well, that's easy enough, you don't need a pattern. So I thought, I'm going to try that. I want one anyway. So I'm going to try to get these gathers more spread out here. And I'm going to sew this down before I go back and I'm not a perfectionist, so if it's not perfect, you know, as you make more, you will get perfect. So I'm going to go up and grab that seam I already have around again. And I want to sew this one down a little bit more. It's pretty thick, the towel part, so be patient so you don't break your needle. Okay, that was a quick project. Let me clip my threads and I'll put it on for you. See, I got my loop so I can hang it when I'm not using it. And I think I'm going to embroidery a chicken on this part right here. I think I got to go look see if I got a chicken design. I'm sure I do. I don't want a rooster, I want a chicken. I'm not a rooster person, I'm the chicken lady. Chicken mama. Ooh, if I have something, maybe I'll even put vinyl on it, just because vinyl's a lot quicker. All right, I'll show it on. I got a few more threads here. What a nice gift this would be. Now this matches my pot holders that I use non-stop. Just a minute. So this is the kitchen shawl, and I think that's the right height for me. I mean, lengthwise. So you just wrap it around, and while you're cooking or baking or whatever you do, and all it took was one hand towel, cut in half, gathered, and then you measure how the length that you would like your shawl to be. You sew a tube, then you iron the ends up so you have folded ends, and stick your gathered towels up in there and sew them. Leave an opening if you want to be able to hang your shawl up when you're not wearing it. So the fabric, and if you use directional fabric, you're going to have a seam in the back so you can have your fabric sewn not facing each other, upside down, because otherwise you'll have one side up and one side upside down. So make sure you remember that. And they match my very well used pot holders. I didn't put hangers on my pot holders because I use my pot holders all the time, and they're not, mine aren't for decoration. So my kitchen shawl, I like it. So I hope this tutorial was useful and helpful, and you don't need a pattern to make this. You can figure this out yourself real easy. My plans for this week, or maybe after Christmas, is I'm going to hang this whiteboard up. I'm going to hang it up here, and yeah, I think that'd be good. So I can try to write out my projects for the week or the month, or just so I have something visual to see what I need to do, what I'm going to do, what I did get done, or something visual. So everybody, you go out and have a great day. Do something creative. Stay home, be creative. But remember, whatever you do, do it in the name of the Lord, and your blessings will always come back. God bless everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.